campaign is about the future, not rumors, not sleaze, and I care about the sanctity of this process, whether you do or do not.
Go on, Gary. Say it.
There's going to be a story tomorrow about me.
Wow. Well, it was a scandal that really forever changed American politics. And the year was 1987. Gary Hart was running for president, had nearly locked down the Democratic nomination to eventually take on George H.W. Bush in the general election. But Hart's presidential dreams and his political career came crashing down over allegations of an extramarital affair. His downfall, the first of many that we have seen since then. My next guest was the woman at the center of that story, and she has decided to step back into the spotlight tonight. Here's first, though, is Jonathan Hunt, our correspondent, with the story from Los Angeles. Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening, Martha. It could certainly be argued that you can draw a direct line from Gary Hart's alleged affair with Donna Rice through Bill Clinton's with Monica Lewinsky to Donald Trump's denial of an affair with Stormy Daniels and his boasts about grabbing women. If there was ever a bar for the personal behavior of presidential hopefuls, it perhaps began to be lowered when Gary Hart, the Democratic frontrunner in 1987, was photographed late in the evening at his D.C. townhouse with a woman who was not his wife.
I make no excuses. I only wear them.
That woman, Donna Rice, a then 29-year-old model, had apparently met Hart famously on a yacht named Monkey Business. And after photographs of the two together were published in the Miami Herald, Hart was asked whether he had ever committed adultery. His reply: I don't have to answer that. But days later, Hart suspended his campaign, saying he'd, quote, made some mistakes. And while not admitting to an affair, in the immediate aftermath, the discussion was all about Hart's behavior. As Time magazine memorably put it, quote, he denied there was anything improper about his friendship with Donna Rice, even though it is far from customary for 50-year-old men to spend weekends away from their wives hanging out with comely actresses who have appeared on Miami Vice. Since then, the actions of the Miami Herald in staging the initial stakeout to capture photos of Hart and Rice have been questioned, while the media coverage of the sex lives of politicians has become ever more intense.
Monica, hold on a second. Take it off. Hey, don't touch her. Hey, pal, get your arms off her.
Now, a decade after Donna Rice found herself the center of the media maelstrom, that, of course, was Monica Lewinsky going through much the same experience, magnified still further by the existence of multiple 24-hour news channels. And, Martha, it does seem fair to ask, without Gary Hart, without Donna Rice, without the media beginning then to make public the private peccadillos of politicians, without those indiscretions, affairs, abuses becoming part of our daily conversation, without the public lowering of the moral bar, could there even have been a President Clinton? Would there be a President Trump? Martha?
Jonathan, thank you very much. Here with me now, Donna Rice Hughes, who has spent many years out of the spotlight following that scandal and rebuilding and channeling her focus into advocating for internet safety and her nonprofit organization Enough is Enough. And she has spoken with us here in the past about that. And then this movie comes out. Donna, welcome. Thank you very much for being here tonight. And suddenly you're back in the spotlight, and you say that you are ready to talk more about it than you did in the past. What is it you want people to understand and know?
Well, I've actually been out a lot over the past 25 years fighting to protect kids on the internet. And it's really interesting, after 7 years underground, after the scandal happened, after I was really front and center for 15 months, when my name was released to the media by the Hart campaign. But then back on the horse that threw me in 1994 to help launch the internet safety movement. But I'm very grateful that the director of this film actually got in touch with me as they were filming the front runner, and he did assure me that the character, my character, which is so strange to say that, I would be treated with sympathy and compassion, and I think he did a good job with that.
You know, I mean, it was sort of, you know, like a bimbo story, right? You graduated magna cum laude, I believe, or summa cum laude. Magna cum laude from USC. You were a pharmaceutical sales rep. You had done some modeling, but it was all bikinis and, you know, all of that.
That's right.
Right from the beginning. How did it feel to, you know, before that, nobody touched these things, right? JFK? It was never in the mainstream media, but suddenly with this story, it all changed.
Well, it was devastating for me and devastating for my family. And I felt like I didn't have any rights. I all of a sudden became a public figure. And the trauma for me really was just beginning as this film ends, when, like I said, my name was released to the media and I was pushed out there in this first time feeding frenzy, and there was blood in the water, and it was mine, and it lasted for about 15 months. But really, by the grace of God, I returned back to my Christian faith and decided to take the high road and went underground, you know, all those 7 years. And little did I know, I would actually be using the pain of my own sexual exploitation and abuse and even a date rape when I was 22 years old, and be fighting to protect the dignity and safety of children and young women now in the digital world. Because, like one of your previous guests just said, even, you know, rape on campuses and violence against women is at an all-time high. And in fact, Martha, 2 years ago, right before the election, we actually issued the first ever Children's Internet Safety Presidential Pledge. And we went to Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and we asked them to sign it. Trump signed it, Hillary Clinton sent a letter of support, and to make sure to defend and protect children from sexual exploitation in the digital world by enforcing the existing federal laws. So now we've got a first-time president, or a president for the first time in history, that's agreed to do that. And now we're looking at a new AG appointment, and we have got to get the obscenity laws enforced. They have not been enforced since John Ashcroft.
It's interesting. I mean, you made some very interesting choices with how to use the notoriety that you had during that and try to turn it into something good. It's a fascinating story. And you took the high road and stayed quiet for so many years. And Donna Rice Hughes, it's good to see you tonight.
Thanks,
Thank
Martha.
you. We're going to check out the movie. Looks very interesting. Thanks. Good to have you back.
Thanks.
Take care.
All right.
So coming up next, a troubled veteran sends a tweet saying that he is on the verge of ending